I spent a few minutes this morning getting the blank that I made yesterday squared up and cleaned up. And now I need to attach it to this disc. I'm just going to position it over one of these grid holes in my table saw. Normally what I would do is I would glue this on here first, let that set up, and then drive screws in. But this disc is so coated with Vaseline that I would never be able to do that. So I'm just going to drive a screw in from underneath. Okay, that one will hold it where it needs to be. I'm just going to drive 4 more in. Make sure it's well attached. Alright, so that's attached, and I'm reusing this ring that this thing fits into. And I'm also going to reuse this ring right here, except it needs a bigger hole in it so that it'll go down over it. And I measured the hole. It's 2 1/4. What I need for this is 4 inches, so I set my compact compass here to around 7/8, and I'm just going to redraw that circle around. The original hole was cut with a hole saw, but to make it larger, I'm just going to cut it out with the bandsaw. Alright, so you can see the way this works. It slips down over. It's still a little bit tight here, but that's the sharp corners on the post. They'll wear off. And what I need to do next is put it up on the thing up there and get it screwed on. Alright, so this lines up like this, and it's going to drive the screws up in here. And then the post will go up in here like this. Now there are holes in here already that should line up with the thing. Just want to check it and see how it is. I've got the microphone boom arm here, and here's the arm that I was using to adjust it with, and that needs to go, at least most of it anyway. I'm going to leave this top part up here, but I'm going to cut the lower part off. Alright, so I'm going to attach this to the post with a couple of 2-inch screws. I've already drilled holes for the screws to go through. I'm just going to hold it up there, just down from that ring up there, and drive the screws in. And of course it runs away from me. Let's see if we can get this. This is a challenge now. I know what I'll do. I'll start the hole. See, I'm smarter than your average bear. Although, not much smaller. Next up is the battery box, and I want to get that at the back of the post here, I think. The other place is over on the side, but I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. The other thing is I've got to put the battery in before I put it up here, because I want to put it right up as close to the top as I can possibly get it. And then I can drive in a couple of screws. Okay, last thing I need to mount up here is the light. And this thing is so light, it really doesn't matter where I put it. But I still want to mount it up as high as I possibly can. I've got this really long screw here. This is 4 inches. I've drilled a hole through it. I've drilled a counter bore as well. And I'm going to drive that in. And that will hold it up. I've got some glue on here too. Construction adhesive, just to make sure it doesn't come undone. That looks pretty good. All right. Then I can plug in the light from underneath and try it out. Look at that. Okay, that's good so far. Next thing I need to do is I need to decide whether I'm going to reuse this articulating arm or build a new one. This one's pretty good. The only drawback, like I said, is the size of the bolts that I used here and the knobs. It's really difficult to tighten it up well enough to support the weight of the camera so it doesn't move. But it does have some other features going in its in its favor, and that's the fact that I made it all out of spruce and it's very lightweight, so it doesn't weigh very much. The problem is, of course, is that it's made for the smaller size, so it won't fit on here. I would either have to thin this down somehow, and I'm not going to do that, or cut these parts out and widen it out. And I think by the time I do that, I'd be better off just building a new one. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up here. I know that, maybe I'm not covering as much as some people would expect in these, but I want them to be quickly done. I don't want to spend hours and hours editing. This channel is kind of turning into how my red channel started out in the first place, except I want to put more time into the production now. I've got better gear, I've got better knowledge, and I just want to make things better. So anyway, I'll leave this one off here, like I said, and we'll catch up with making this thing, because I've already decided I'm going to remake the whole thing in the next video.